What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card CEO. As you can see, we are not in our normal locations. The boys are all together, and we have a special guest with us, Mr. Mike Mahan, CEO of Fanatics Collectibles. What's up, brother?
What's going on? Happy to be here.
So, to all of our listeners and viewers, we are on site at Cards HQ in Atlanta, Georgia, hours before the Home Run Derby to record this pod.
Yep.
Boys, this is like...
After 5 cases ripped.
You get burning through Bowman.
How much damage did you do?
Yeah, we did some damage. We did a lot of damage.
I noticed them building a new wing with your name on it.
It's going to be a
good sign.
The CEO wing over there.
Yeah.
So we've been having a blast, and to kind of kick things off here, Mike, we had to share the story with you. So we've been, as we said, on a burner of ripping open.
I'm ready for the
product,
big reveal.
right? So yesterday, we drove in from Wilmington, North Carolina, about 6.5 hours, and when I get to Gary's house, to Bubba's house, he looks across the counter and he goes, "You boys ready to open a case?" And I was like, dude, I didn't come to your house to drop all this money on these cases.
Came to go in the pool.
Yeah, I know. It's like I came to take a dip in the pool, and you got me opening wax. So anyway, we all agreed to open a case, and it was 25 Bowman.
So I'm going to stop you there. We all agreed. Me and you agreed.
Yep. Let's just say I was absent here.
He was in New York, but I made the call, and I go, "Hey, Kern," I said, "We're going to open a box. Do you want in?"
Case,
normally
yeah.
A case. He's normally like, "Absolutely, I'm in." I was like, $1,000, are you in? He's like, no.
Let's
I'm
just
like,
not. Let's just
I'm like,
hold on.
what? I'm like, you're not
let's
in?
not make it like it was about the money here. All right?
It was a personal
All right,
decision.
I just want to give you a background. I'm in Southampton on a go-kart while my son is driving, and I'm trying not to get killed. It was a gas-powered go-kart, and these guys FaceTiming me, going, "You want in on the case?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm good." He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I want to be there with you guys when we rip. Like, we're gonna rip plenty tomorrow."
Yep.
Like, I'm out.
So we proceed to distribute. So I have my 3 boys with me. Gary has his boys.
And so it's an even split?
Even
Split.
Yep, Ham House and Bowman Farmer here.
All right, 1,500 apiece?
All the boys, 1,500 apiece.
Okay.
All the boys have their boxes, and we're slow rolling, and everybody's chatting, nervous, ripping wax or whatever. And all of a sudden, Gary's youngest son, Rhett, says, "Dad, I hit a red Zaire Hope."
No way.
And that thing,
True red.
that thing is perfect. That is
perfect.
a 10-10,
That is
10
all
auto,
day long.
centered.
So the red
That is
Zaire
beautiful.
Hope
Beautiful.
was hit. And in the same case, we hit a Kevin McGonigal True Gold. It was like the magic case.
You know, guys,
That's
I'm
great.
really, really happy for you. I'm really happy for you.
So it was
So now, how does the split work? Does it live 6 months in one place? And
It's got a
months in another,
special
or-
trip planned tomorrow. It's
Yes.
on its way to Cali
It's
to get
going to
graded
Cali.
at PSA.
Okay, then what?
Then once we get a 10-10, then we got some decisions.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
have
so,
some business conversations.
All right.
Yeah.
So that
I
is.
have a proposal. You guys
Oh,
could sell me
proposal.
the car.
Oh, you want it? Yeah. So anyway, we just thought that would be perfect.
I love it.
To support the brand and
Congratulations.
on.
It's great.
Yeah. So we're here at Cards HQ ahead of the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, all the stuff. But we had the opportunity to connect with you at Fanatics Fest.
Yeah.
And I just want to say what a great job I thought you guys did. It's second year. Just wanted to kind of get your feedback on the pod to our listeners about the thoughts of Fanatics Fest and any announcements you wanted to make.
Well, I will say I think the team did an incredible job putting that together. I mean, when you think about what it takes to do an event of that scale, it's enormous. And then to put that together in year 2, right, with all of those names, all of those brands, all of those people coming together to celebrate sports and fandom and celebrity and culture and cards. I mean, look, I come from the world of live events, and I know what it takes to put on an event of that scale, and it takes years to get it right. And so for the events team to have that come together in the way that it did in only 2 years, I mean, it was a remarkable achievement. And I think for our world, in the world of cards, you know, having this event that celebrates sports fandom, all of these athletes, all of these celebrities, all of these fans in one place, and then to have so many of those fans touch cards for the first time, right? If you think about how you grow the market, it's really sports fans into collectors. And so you have collecting featured in such a prominent way, such an authentic way. You have all these athletes that are collecting. You have all these dealers there. And if you go talk to any of them, they'll tell you they did record business. But more importantly, the number of new collectors and maybe casual collectors that they touched and talked to and transacted with for the first time, that's really what is setting the foundation to grow the industry. And look, we all love this hobby, but for sports fans that don't know the hobby or maybe haven't done it in 30 years, or all these kids that maybe don't know how to get started, getting them in for the first time so that they can enjoy this journey, this passion that we all hold so dearly, that's what's important for all of us, and I think that's what it achieved.
We had a whole episode on it after Matt and Little Matt got back. And in this show, just so you know, we're always, the key for this show from the get-go is we want to be a real show. Real emotion, real. And a year ago, the first year Fanatics Fest, it was like, everybody was like, wasn't great. First year wasn't great. This year, complete opposite. Everybody that came back was like amazing. It was better. It was like the national on steroids.
Well, the first year, I was there the first year. This year I couldn't make it. But the first year, you guys had like 3 months, it felt like, to put it together, which was nothing. So I thought you guys did a phenomenal job in the short period of time that you had. I think it was a good opportunity you figured out the kinks of lines being longer or whatnot, and more activations this year from what I've heard. But
what was curious about it to me, it was a perfect blend of the entertainment industry and the hobby. You know what I mean? When you have the athletes and the entertainers, like you said, and then you have the cards, there's a lot of people that just don't get the card thing. They don't understand it. So when you put all that stuff in the same room, that energy was definitely there. And that was what was so unique about it to me.
Well, that was one of my questions coming into today for you, Mike, because I'm coming from the business world and looking at buying and selling businesses. We're obviously looking at the analytics and saying, okay, who are our potential customers? So when you came to buy Tops, right, and y'all obviously looked at the demographic, you looked at all the geographic and said, what can we do to broaden our horizons, right? So now here y'all were, that event did that, right? And you talked about that earlier, but what were the numbers when you looked at it? I'm just curious. Was it 10% of the current population's into cards at some point? What did your background study information came back and say, we're at 10%, but we think we can get to 50? Or we're at 30%, we think we can get to 50?
It's funny you ask. So I, like you, am very into analytics and data and information and analysis. Yep. Good luck in this industry, right? Think about how hard it is to figure out who is actually collecting. Because think about where people buy, right? If you buy from our website, okay, we know who you are. Yep. We don't know what you do with the product, right? There can be a lot of people buying the product to resell. You buy from a hobby shop, we don't know who you are. Yep. You buy from a show, we don't know who you are. You buy from eBay, we don't know who you are. So you buy from each other, we don't know who you are. So there's a lot of challenges around how we measure the market. Now, unquestionably, it's growing. We're at all-time highs. I mean, every anecdotal piece of information will suggest that we are at the beginning of a movement here, that this is a special time with what is going on in the card industry. But in terms of the fundamental analytics of here's who's collecting, here's how many people, here are the demographics, here are the age groups, that information is very hard to come by. So we extrapolate a lot, we candidly guess a lot, and ultimately where we get to is let's just make the best products we possibly can. Let's just tell the best stories we can and bring those to life through marketing. Let's have the right commercial strategy where we partner with hobby shops, breakers, and retailers, right, where we're not going through distributors, but we're going directly so that consumers get the best price. And let's partner with athletes in a real way. Let's bring them into the hobby in things like Rip Night and things like Fanatics Fest. Let's put some energy behind this category, and then let's see what happens. Because I think regardless of what the demographics are and what the analytics say, all things point back to just make great product, tell great stories, do the right thing by the collector, have the right partnership with athletes, and this will be a very special industry for years and decades to come.
One of the things is I was actually here, we've been here at Cards HQ today, and I was talking with Aram Layton, who is with Just Baseball, who is one of our partners, and he started telling me about his dad and him collecting cards when he was a kid. It was a really awesome story, and his father passed away, and he found all the cards his dad had stored up for him, you know what I mean? And one of them is like, he said, it's my card that I'll never get. His dad gave it to him in graduate high school. It was a T206 Ty Cobb in a low grade. And he's like, this is my thing. And so he was talking with my son, and my sons are here, and Gary's sons, and then Kern's got kids. It's like, this hobby is so cool because it transcends generations, and it really has a unifying capacity over the thing we all love, right? Sports and hobby and kind of the fun and the rip and all that stuff. So it's just, I think it's like prime. The state of the hobby right now, to me, the word is primed.
Yeah.
Did you all see the Joy of Collecting thing that we did? So if you haven't seen it, just go on YouTube, go Joy of Collecting. You'll see it. But the idea was that when, all of us are dads, when you think about our kids, when you think about these are the memories they're making today or what they're going to be thinking about in 30 years. Right? That's where the magic comes. And we wanted to tell that story about why people should collect, because when you think about all the things that we all get to do and all the privileges we have, some of my best memories are when I was young, going to card shops and going to shows, and I was too nervous to buy the upper decks. So I was stuck with the Donruss and the tops. But for me, those memories, nothing compares to them. How I feel when I have cards now takes me back to that moment when I was a kid, and that magic, there's nothing else like it. And also, the other thing that's crazy is I think about how much business is like trading cards. I mean, it's, you think about, whether it's how you negotiate with people, how you interact with them, how you choose what to collect, how you keep things safe, the expected value, investing. I mean, there's just a lot of life skills that frankly are hard to come by in this new digital world that you develop through cards. So for me, and doing it with my boys, building the memories with them, that's the most important thing, far and away. But also having them build these life skills that are hard to replicate anywhere else. That's, like, I can tell you, Lincoln, my oldest son, he was painfully shy 3 years ago, right, when I first took this job. He's 12 and a half. So I remember we went to our first card show early on, and he goes, "Dad, what's my budget? What's my budget?" And I said, $20. And he says, "Okay, great."
Good dad.
Yeah, and then so he wants to buy a LeBron James card for $5. And he goes, "Dad, I want to buy this card for $5. I'm like, "Great." I'm like, "But you're not paying retail." He says, "What do you mean?" I go, "You got to negotiate. That's the whole point of this." I said, "You tell him you buy for $3 and you settle for $4. He goes, "Oh, okay, well then you do it." And he hands me back my $20. I said, No. Who's going to get the better deal, right? The cute 9-year-old kid or me? He goes, "The cute kid." I go, "Okay, so go get it done." So, I mean, you have never seen somebody walk up so meekly to it, and I can't really hear because I'm back. And he comes back 5 minutes later, a huge grin on his face. "I got it for $3.50.
Let's go.
And by the end of the day, he's offering dealers like for a $100 card, $2. I mean, he is handling fine, right? He's
not allowed to make an offer on this Zaire.
Right, give you like $8 for that. He'd completely come out of his shell. And if you talk to him now, you would never know that was the kid that was just painfully shy, that could not look people in the eye, that could not talk to adults or kids. He just couldn't do it. And now he's completely grown out of it. And maybe it happens anyway, but I saw it manifest in that day at a card show. And so for me, right, it's a great memory. It's also a great life skill and an important part in his development. So there's a lot of good and a lot of special things that come from the hobby.
You're spot on. My 8-year-old, who's never been the baseball fan of the three brothers, he's kind of the last one coming through. It was always a little different. Wasn't like, I don't know if I want to like baseball cards. And the whole last 2 days, he knew we were coming down here to Cards HQ, and he had little sticky notes. And I told him how he looks up on Card Ladder values, and he came back over about an hour ago, and he was like, so proud. I sold these cards, I bought these cards, and they're wheeling and dealing. To me, like it's such, like you said, a business skill to be able to go up and, whether you're in sales or anything, how to talk to people, and just how to engage, and so it's an amazing thing.
Well, because now it's all on the phone, right? It's all digital, and so to do that in real life is meaningful, and it's important.
It's a big difference, too, to sit behind a screen and haggle with people over pricing and actually have to go face-to-face and make a deal.
It's a different story at a card show. I mean, even my first card show since I was a kid was at the National last year, believe it or not. And, I didn't do much buying or anything, but I felt kind of shy going up to dealers and, like, the lingo and how you're talking to them and how you're going to make the offer. And, it's so much different the way I handled those conversations than I would online, or like through Instagram or something like that. Just so much different, even as a 40-year-old here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know you boys had some questions about like CEO and family life. We're kind of transitioning there, so I wanted to kind of our show is called the Sports Card CEO.
Yeah,
obviously.
Ask me anything you want.
I want to hear about the CEO Mike Mahan and the father Mike Mahan. How many children do you have?
You have two.
You have two children.
Boys,
okay. I heard one of them hit the Paul Skeens debut pack.
Yeah, let's perpetuate that. The number of text messages I got about that, insane. I'm looking at my phone, and all of a sudden it's blown up. An 11-year-old boy in Los Angeles hit the Pulse games. I'm like, oh.
Remain anonymous.
Right, exactly. Perfect. And then I thought for a minute, I'm like, did Lincoln hit this and then split it with a buddy? But yeah, it was.
He was offered to buy in and he chose not to.
It was. But I mean, how cool is that story?
Amazing. It's an amazing story. I mean, it's what you dream about as a kid collecting. But so much of what we talk about is how we balance our lives and work and Matt has five kids, Gary has four, and I have 3. So how do you manage? Like, I mean, you're busier than ever, your schedule, and how do you manage having 2 children and being the CEO of Fanatics Collectibles?
So I will tell you, the simple answer is I've brought them into this world. And it's important to me when I do things like this. My son will be with me at the Home Run Derby. My son's with me at Fanatics Fest. My little one is just getting into it, and he's like, Dad, I'm at Fanatics Fest next year. I'm coming,
Yeah.
How
old is he?
He's 9.
Okay.
So I think for, having these guys love what I do, love the hobby, love the fact I bring home cards, love, start trading with each other. They're into it, and that has helped enormously because this job is extraordinarily demanding. I mean, it's look, people go, oh, is it because of Ruben and how relentless he is and how hard he works? And that's part of it. But honestly, the biggest factor is just what it takes to do the job in the right way that people expect and that I can be proud of, right? I mean, if you're prioritizing the collector, what does the collector want, right? The collector wants excellence. The collector wants innovative products. They want quality control. They want their products on time. They want customer service. They want all the things that we all would know and expect. And when I took over this as the CEO 3 years ago, I was amazed about how underdeveloped the infrastructure of the industry was. Because if you think about it, you had these businesses that were privately held companies that were run more or less for cash by ownership, right? They were making good profits. COVID happens, the business explodes. And so now no one was prepared for it. Right, the business has gone to new heights, and the system really buckled. I mean, people couldn't get product out. There were all sorts of errors. You had redemptions going through the roof, and you had an industry that wasn't built anywhere near to support this scale. Okay, and you had a lot of third-party manufacturers and third parties doing all these various things with respect to the hobby that hadn't invested in a modern way to support the industry. And by the way, why should they, right? Traditionally, this business had been fairly cyclical, so no one was going to invest for the next 20 years, not knowing what the next 2 years would look like, especially coming out of COVID, right? Because think about what happened to most businesses after that had a big spike in COVID, right? They regressed to pre-COVID norms. Just about every other consumer products company, think about watches and jewelry and art and all these things that took off, right, all have come back down. And so my challenge coming into this was, okay, what I'd like to do is just call timeout, just completely focus on the infrastructure, particularly with all these new licenses coming, and just build the foundation. And then once the foundation's ready, we'll build the house on top of it, right? We'll start with the product innovation and the marketing and the athlete and really bring the industry to life, but we'll have a solid foundation with which to do it. The problem with that was all these collectors had come in during COVID, and if you lost them, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to ever get them back.
Right.
So we had to say, look, buckle up. We're going to try to innovate and grow the hobby and really keep those collectors that now have other things to do again, keep them invested in the hobby by new and exciting things. But by the way, we're also going to have to build the infrastructure to support all these new licenses and doing things what we think is the right way, the way we want to do them, prioritizing on-card autographs with customer service and quality control and innovation and all the things that have become so important in the last 3 years. It's just harder from an operational perspective. Trying to do all of that at once has been extraordinarily taxing, not only for me, by the way, but for so many people on my team. And it's just made so much easier on a personal level, because you asked the question, just having my boys love what we're doing, love being part of it. And so when I'm working, my son's running around out there, probably ripping packs and hopefully not running up my bill too high, but he's having a good time and he's doing his thing, and it's awesome.
What is Mike Mahan, the dad, doing during the week at home on a Wednesday night? Are you watching baseball? Are you watching Netflix?
I haven't
what are
watched
you
a
doing?
TV show in forever, and I come from TV. I love TV. No, I mean
What's your day look like? Your regular day.
Regular day, most days it's a workout in the morning. If it's school, I take my kids to school. If I'm in town, just about every time.
Are you checking emails before you work?
Oh yeah, I'm up at 4 in the morning.
Okay.
What time are you going to bed? 6 hours?
Not even. Well, I'm up anywhere from 3:30 to 5, I would say. And then if I'm lucky, I get another half hour, 45 minutes of sleep after that. But I'm up. They say don't check your phone, but otherwise I'll just sit there and look at the ceiling. I mean, I've tried that. So I'm not a good sleeper. But yeah, it's probably 6.5 if I'm lucky. Sometimes 4, sometimes 7. But
Have you always been that way, or is it
been
kind of
that way
in the
for a
business
while.
world?
Yeah.
yeah, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with work. It's
Yeah.
just your mind gets racing.
So you're waking up, you're checking emails, you're going to the gym,
Yeah.
you come back, you're working more.
I'd say the first hour, that's when I'm hunting around on social media. I'm looking at what people are saying. I'm checking emails. I'm looking at box scores, right? I want to see what's going on. I'm looking, now.
What are you following? Are you following people that you're collecting? Are you following your teams?
I'm mostly following people where I think narratives can be developed. So right now, first thing I'll check is Shohei. I mean, I generally know what the Dodgers do before I go to bed, but I'm checking Shohei regularly. I'm checking Judge. Then I'll go through the rookies, right? I'll start going. I have my boy Cags do, which he'll turn it around eventually. And then I usually go to James Wood. I go to Nick Kurtz. I check. I'm always curious how Jackson Holliday and Gunnar Henderson are doing. So I just kind of go, team by team and
player by player.
and player by player, and I just want to see what's going on because I check whether Trout did he homer, is he getting 400? I want to know those storylines because as a company, there's things that we want to lean into, and I just want to make sure I'm on top of it.
You build
That
around
makes
that,
sense.
that content.
What's for breakfast? I have the most random questions, but
Great, let's do it. So if I'm at home,
Yeah.
it's 2 to 3 bowls of wheat squares with blueberries and bananas.
Great choice.
If I'm on the road, 4 scrambled egg whites, no oil, blueberries and bananas mixed together, smashed avocado. And the weekends, it's that plus at least 3 pancakes.
I was gonna say,
Bananas inside and out, whole wheat.
Coffee guy?
Never.
No caffeine?
Never. No, just because I'll have a Diet Coke every once in a while, but
Yeah.
I just don't like the taste of coffee, unfortunately.
What's for lunch?
Lunch, I order in most days. I used to go out, but fortunately, I don't have time for that anymore. Usually, it is a spinach salad with cranberries, and then it's either like a chicken bowl, or now I've started, there's this new bowl that I get with hummus and grains, which is pretty good.
See,
So-
this is the content we need, guys.
This is-
We don't need to
By the
hear
way,
from the what's for
I'm
breakfast.
happy to post it all. You guys.
I'm over here marking off biscuits and gravy.
When you get to, by the way, it all sounds disciplined until I get to the ice cream at night.
There you go.
Well, that's
to make
situation
himself feel
after.
better
Yeah.
about his
Yeah.
sugar
I
binge
would
in the
say-
day.
I would say 2 to 3 days a week on ice cream. That's
Okay.
the Achilles heel, for sure. And I crush.
Kern feels better now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have about 2 to 3 ice cream Snicker bars a night.
Well, I mean, kids and ice cream just go together.
Yes.
I mean, you can't. There's no world that I have the discipline or the willpower to take my kids to ice cream and stand there and watch them eat it. None.
On a personal side, like personal collection side, are you bigger into the Bowman stuff? Or are you trying to get guys that are established? Are you vintage? Like, where are you at?
It's a little of everything. I would tell you what's been important to me is when we as a team come out with a new product innovation, I generally want to dive into that, right? So like it was important to me to have a Brady. It was important to me I love the first milestone. They've been a little undermarketed because they kind of fell between the
Debut patch and-
Bowman, the debut patches and Bowman draft, and so they got a little lost. And then this year they just came out and they were right before Dynasty, and Dynasty was so sought after, and obviously that brand means something. So they've gotten a little bit lost, but to have those relics from the first time a guy gets a hit, and I never knew this at the time, but the richness that comes off the bases. I mean, the MLB logos and some of the color and the texture that comes out of it, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So I think those cards over time are going to be super important. And then, look, I like some of the inserts we're doing. I love the home field advantages. I love the animes. So things like that
Yeah.
I like to dabble. If I'm interested in a player, buy those inserts with which I'm interested in, because I think that's a fun way for me to experience the hobby, just because I know some of the thought that went in some of those inserts, some of the conceit behind it, and so if I can align that with a player I'm interested in, that's fun for me.
I got one question for you. So my dad, as a kid, he said this to me. If he said it one time, he said it 100 times. I want to ask you this question because I think it's a question a lot of people want to know. Like, when you look at your career and you look at where you're sitting here today, very successful, CEO of a large company in Fanatics, a successful company. He said every time he ever asked super successful people, and I mean, I'm talking someone like yourself, what do you account your success to? I'm just curious, in your mind, when you sit there today and you say, I'm successful because of X, what do you believe that is?
That's a great question. Look, I think there's a lot of things that would go into it, right? Hard work, determination, making the right decisions, keeping your nose clean, working hard in school. I mean, there's a lot of things that matter. If I had to say, I would say really two things, okay? I think the first one was, and I think it's more of a tried and true path now, but I was pretty early on getting internships and things like that, which really set me up for my first job at Bear Stearns at the time. That was, one of the big Wall Street firms. And then from there, that was the springboard into .coms and then private equity, and that ultimately led to Dick Clark. It just kind of led to everything else, right? So I started a little bit ahead just because I got an earlier start in college. So while everyone else was partying, I was grinding away at an investment bank. Yeah. And look, there were some sacrifices with that, but I had a head start. I mean, I really started my career, maybe somewhere between first and second base in that way because I just had experience. And so when all these college kids came out at the same time, I had real experience and was just very differentiated, and that really set me up in a different way. And then I think my skill set is I often see opportunities or have creative solutions to things that are unique or people haven't thought about in a certain way. And so if you combine that with a real persistence around hard work and really coming to, pushing the envelope in terms of where we can take this thing, I think that has been a driving force for the business, right? You really, I think as a leader, you set the tone with where we want to take it, and we've had some early wins, and now we really do have this culture of innovation and excellence, and not that we achieve that in each and everything that we do, but it's so ingrained in what we are trying to do each and every day. We're trying to do right by the collector, and it can be everything from just getting the on-card autographs to getting the product out on time to what's the next debut patch, or now we've got the gold logo men coming out and things like that, and everything it takes to put that into motion. So I would tell you it's not any one thing, but for me, I would say those two things kind of relative to maybe somebody else have been my real points of strength, if you will.
I hear you're like a creative, you see opportunity, motivated, hungry. Would you call yourself also organized or unorganized?
It depends. I think if you go ask my assistant, she'd say unorganized.
Well, I say that because that's how I am. I mean, like very, very creative, but very unorganized.
Yeah, I would look. I think it depends on what we're talking about, right? Yeah. I mean, I think I would say organizing is not my strength. Yeah. Right. But being, creating an apparatus to function in an environment that is organized is right. Like, I mean, think about it. I was in the live television business for the majority of my career. You have to be organized. I mean, show doesn't start 5 minutes late, right? Like, things have to run precisely to the second. So I would tell you that I'm an organized thinker in those ways, right? I can take a lot of complexity and distill it down. But yeah, organizing is not my strength at all. But there's so many great people that we have at our company that are great at that. And I think for me, leveraging off of what they do is helping me immensely.
It's one of the things that goes back to what you said about you got to build down before you can build up, right? A tree goes deep before it goes tall. And you have to have these processes in place. Even if you're not the one who implements them, you have to understand them to create the structure and the flow that things can build on. And I'm probably the newest of the guys running their own business or whatever, my insurance agents. And like, we're doing this every day. And it's like I'm having to think through these granular things, which are not necessarily my strong suit, you know what I mean, in order to be able to kind of catalyze that and to get it moving forward. My question along those same lines is if Gary asked you kind of what got you, what got you here, I'm asking you what keeps you going, because I know for me at 43, I've experienced stuff in my life I never thought I would experience, right? And so it's like you've had the vacations, you've eaten the good food, you've done the cool things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. It's like, but it's like where to from here? You know what I mean? Like, what keeps you going, man? What keeps the hustle up?
Yeah, I mean, look, I love what we're doing. I love the people I work with. I love the people in this industry. I really do. I mean, I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this, but I want to do it. I think outside of your health and the health of your loved ones, and not necessarily in that order, I think loving what you do every day is such a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, when you wake up and you're excited to go to work, and that doesn't mean, by the way, you're excited for every minute. Okay, there's always something in my day I'd rather be playing pickleball or doing something else. But I am genuinely excited to go to work every day. I'm excited for what we're doing, and I think we're in the middle of a mission here, and we want to continue to build on this movement that I think we've had a large part in starting in terms of where the hobby is going. And I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think we're innovating, we're building great things, we're telling great stories, we're putting smiles on a lot of people's faces. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are winning in this environment. So we're having a lot of fun. And as long as it's fun and we're having success, I'm here for it. And, I think even if, there comes a day where the market softens or things get a little tougher, that doesn't mean, okay, now it's time to cut and run, right? Not every day is supposed to be fun. It rains sometimes, even if you have a sunny climate. But it's, to me, if you have an environment that you enjoy being in, you have an industry that you care deeply about, and you have what I believe to be a formula and a path to success, what else could you want? I mean, that to me in a job is everything you could ask for.
So, gents, we are at MLB All-Star Weekend. This is a baseball-focused podcast. We are in the throes of the big events, and all of us tonight are going to the MLB Home Run Derby. So let's chat for a second about how are we feeling about this event over there, boys. Bubba?
Well, I hate that I have a Mets fan in town here beside me.
I think everybody here is going to hate that.
10 games under for the Braves. Been a tough season.
You guys can become Dodger fans.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to. Y'all took Freeman from us. I guess we're going to become Dodger fans. No, I mean, I think tonight, what an experience for Atlanta to finally have a game back. After a couple years ago, game was going to be here. City didn't get the game. So I know the city's excited. You can look behind us here at Cards HQ. Has been hopping all day. It speaks for the hobby as well. How long it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's awesome.
All day long there's been people flowing in here. But I think from the game tonight, my kids have been excited about going to Home Run Derby for a long time. We got the gloves packed over there. So it's one of the few games where you look at ticket prices and outfield seats are as much as like behind home plate.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Everybody's trying to get the ball and be that guy jumping around. But as far as picks go tonight, I'll go ahead and throw mine out there because I think that everybody wants to hear the picks. I'm going to go Matt Olson. Braves. Homer style.
Boy.
Going Homer here. Matt Olson, lefty, short porch. Matt Olson.
So are we going to, Kern, you have some wagers involved in this? What are we talking here? What are you wanting to throw something
I thought
down?
maybe we'd make it interesting with Mike here, but I don't really know what.
It's like we'll put a card in, but it's like, how big is that card going to be?
I hear hopes in it. Maybe work your way into that.
You might get a piece of it after all.
I think all four of us are going to make our picks. Gary took Matt Olson. None of them win. It's scratched, right?
Yeah,
but I think we need to come up with. Let's make our picks and then let's come up with something.
All right.
To wager on it. My pick is Junior Caminero.
The junior.
Yeah, it's a homer pick for me because I'm heavily invested and I love him. So I'm going to stick with him. Junior Caminero. You got to go, Mike.
I'm wearing the jersey.
So I'll go. So I would honestly say that I'll let Mike have that pick, and I think Gary did too because we were all feeling like we were on the wood train. A guy that I like because he seems to have that kind of magical thing going right now is the favorite is Cal Raleigh. Like he just has that kind of vibe right now where it kind of reminds me of Ripken won it in 91, and, Hamilton, when he had that tear, he just got so hot, whatever that was, late 2000. I think that he's the guy I want to pick, but I'm actually going to pick O'Neal Cruz.
Oh,
because
curveball. No one's picking Cal.
Yeah.
I may change my.
Just because the exit velocities and just the guy's got just tons of pop. So I'm going.
Smart pick.
I'll tell you, I think O'Neal Cruz hits the longest home run tonight. I will
Yeah.
say that. I think he hits the longest home run.
What do you think? Do you think
James Wood's going to hit the longest
Do you
home
think?
O'Neal
do,
Cruz.
What do you think there'll be a ball hit over 480 tonight?
I think there'll be a ball that hits out of the stadium over the chop house, no doubt.
Wow.
No doubt. And it
gonna
could be
hit my
James
hotel
Wood.
window.
Could be James Wood.
So you guys, I think what they should do is, in addition to the active players in the home run derby, they should get retired guys. I'm serious. Give them
awesome.
metal bats
Awesome.
and
love
see
this.
what happens.
That would be
Right?
awesome.
Think about because
See
those
what
guys,
happens. They might
those
die,
Guys,
they
no,
might-
Those guys, no. Those guys can still swing.
They
I'm
still
telling
got
you.
it.
Well,
And
you're
you
saying
throw-
old, you don't mean like you're talking
A-Rod.
like Derek Jeter, A-Rod, or
A-Rod.
Ortiz.
By the way, I bet McGuire
Yeah.
and Bonds could still do some
I'm
damage.
sure.
No,
yeah.
Metal
that's
bat?
good.
I bet you Matt Holliday
Yeah,
could
all day
out
long.
Jackson and Ethan
All
Still
day
today.
long.
Dude's like jacked.
Yeah.
He's good at pickleball.
I do want to ask Mike a question. You made your pick, right? Or we?
Yeah.
James Wood. What's worth more now, and what's going to be worth more in 5 years? The MLB debut patch or the Bowman Superfracture auto, and why?
Well, which kid do you like the best? I have always believed, and I continue to believe, the MLB debut patch. But by the way, I don't think that the Bowman Super will diminish in value. I just think that people are going to make room for the MLB debut patch. But the privity of it is just undeniable, right? Having something that's connected to
To the game.
Yeah.
to the moment.
Yeah.
It's hard to think that won't be the ultimate card. And I think we've started to see it, right? I mean, what do you you tell me, what do you think Paul Skeen's Bowman is worth compared to the debut patch? I mean, I think you're seeing the data points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
That's kind of
Look,
an
I think
outlier.
usually, it is an outlier for sure. I think it, to me, the answer is always it's player contingent right now while it's fresh and new, because a lot of these, I think the debut patches have a much higher floor. You're not finding a debut patch for less than $3,000,
Yep.
right? You could buy a Bowman Super for $250 to
Perfect.
roll and play. I think ultimately the best card to outside the Bowman world, and overall, I think the debut patch is the answer, because it's not only, Bowman is just for Bowman guys. The debut patch is bringing in collectors that collect football
Yep.
and basketball, and people that aren't even collecting.
And memorabilia people. Like it
And
has that
exactly.
feel where it, yeah.
So I think ultimately the answer, even though I collect a lot of supers, I think the answer ultimately is going to be the debut patch. I always wondered how much of it, I mean, it's a way to feel connected to the player. Question is, how much of it will be, of that value is contingent upon how they performed in their first game. You know what I mean?
I don't think very much.
Not very
I
much
think-
right now,
I
no.
think people. I think if you take it Dominguez, is it more special when he
The home run,
goes
yeah.
deep? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Do I think people look at these cards tied to the career and not tied to the game?
Agree. The one question for you I have on this is you guys continue to innovate and come out with the milestone cards in Inception and the MLB Golden Logo Man. Is there anything else, or is there a concern that it might diminish the value of the debut patch? Something else that might come out that is cooler and closer to that player than the debut patch, to where you see the market for these. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars being spent on them. Is there something that the collector should be worried about on the horizon that might diminish the value of that from being the best card?
I mean, look, it's hard. Let me just say, it's hard for me to opine on value and tell people, what they should or shouldn't buy, because ultimately it's all subjective and it's all unknown.
Is there something that's going to have the marketing behind the MLB debut patch that,
No, there's not. But I will say this, right? For me, the way I think about it is, and we talked about this, if we do this debut patch, what's the impact going to be to Bowman and to Chrome, right? And how are people going to look at the supers and go, wait a minute, there's now a third person at this party? And ultimately, I think where you get to is, look, let's just make great stuff. And I think it expands the hobby, right? It gives people more ways to come in and to invest. And I think the Bowman crowd is still going to be the Bowman crowd, but I think that's even growing, because hey, maybe I get started by a debut patch and then holy cow, what's this Bowman thing? And now, because Bowman's not
reverse.
something you get in on the first date, right?
Yeah.
Bowman's
Very
not an entry level product. That is, that's like graduate school for collecting. Okay, and so I think you have to continue to grow the market. You have to get people in, and then hey, what's this Bowman thing? And it can be, by the way, people can get started on Bowman through the rainbow. They can get started through GPK. They can get started through anime. I mean, there's a lot of different entry points now to Bowman that I think interest people. And we've seen Bowman grow significantly in the last few years. So it's not as if, hey, the debut patch comes along and now all of a sudden Bowman starts to soften. We've actually seen just the opposite.
I think if you're concerned, the answer is to just get both of that player you like.
I think when you look, we're 70-something years beyond the mantle, right? The holy grail of collector's cards, right? The 52 mantle. And you're 70 years later and you think about, okay, 70 years from now, when you look at these players, what are people going to be seeking? There's no doubt they're going to be seeking both. I mean, there's great Mantles, there's great Honus Wagners, there's great Babe Ruth cards. When you look at those cards, though, now I had this conversation with my dad today, it's no different than high-end collector's cards or anything else, or paintings or anything else. The top tier is always going to be the top tier because there's only one.
I agree with that. And I think it's important to have a lot of different things to buy into and a lot of different things to collect, because ultimately that's what gives the hobby the expansion to grow, right? If you just had one card that people chased or two cards that people chased, it'll get bid up, but then it's unaffordable and inaccessible. And by the way, those cards are still going to go for astronomical numbers, right? But the more things that we can provide in the hobby, the more collecting journeys we can put you on, the more stories we can tell, the more ways we can connect you to the athletes. That's what I think our job is, and I think that's how we not only grow the hobby but keep it sustainable for the long term.
Inscription, I think just the inscriptions that the players are doing at their earlier days coming into the hobby, to me, I think kids love that. I think everybody loves it, especially if you're a fan of a team. I want to see that continue. I think that's really cool to see these guys writing on the cards beyond the autograph. I think as they're in these moments too, these special moments in time, as you talk about, it could be Shohei, what he did this morning when you woke up, kind of stuff is cool to see.
Yeah, thank you. Look, we're trying to organize it in the right way. So you see the My First Bowman autos, but we're also trying to have the players have fun with each other. When there's milestones, we want to commemorate those type of things.
Jack and Bobby.
Yeah, it was great, right?
It's awesome.
It's awesome. So collecting should be fun. So we want it to be special, aligned with special moments, but we also want to have some fun with it. I mean, guys are going to sign their GPK cards, their blacks, in their GPK name. They're going to write their GPK name on there too, which is kind of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they're just, we're going to try some fun things. Not everything will work or connect with collectors, but we'll lean into what works and we'll scratch what doesn't. The good news about the business, when you find something that works, you get to do it across multiple sports for multiple years, right? I mean, people love garbage pail kids, just to stick with that. Let's just keep going, right? If they don't, then we have moved on to something else.
A couple other things real quick from ripping hobby boxes yesterday, because as you know, I'm usually a singles guy, right? That's what I do. I'm usually a single sniper, as people call it now. But I got into ripping the hobby cases recently. I ripped the jumbo as well. I have to tell you how fun the hobby case rip was. All the different colors, all the different serial cards that are coming out there. And then and I didn't even know that it existed, that there was a special pearl pack. I didn't even know, because I don't live in that world, right? And to see that pearl pack be on top was like, the kids were like, they knew what it was before I did. That was incredibly cool. And then to hear about you've got the seeds and the gumball packs and all that, I think y'all are doing it right there with that, where when you open a box, that there's those kind of elements of what are you going to get, the red rookie and all, when you can open a pack and you don't know. Even today, we were ripping a case, a spotlight came out, a red spotlight. That's huge, right?
Awesome.
I mean, to be able to get something like that. So, to me, I think you're on the right track with making it from a rip standpoint, from a collector standpoint. You may not be an autograph guy. You may be into this or that, but it's there. In that pack, there's so many different varieties.
What can we wager on this derby?
Tell me.
All right, well.
You've got some ideas, so.
A home run, man.
I don't know what interests you. I mean, I know what interests us here, or me.
So I'm putting up Bowman, clearly. What are you guys putting up?
Why don't we wager tonight? He's got a James. Let's get the real James Wood jersey tonight if he wins the home run derby.
Just tell me.
Let's pick a card, pick a value, just card value. What do you want to say? How much card got to be worth? Just pick a card. Bowman first auto. And
of his choice?
Well, just to call it a point.
All right, $3,000.
Good? Y'all go ahead. All
right, fine. What do you want to do? 500.
I was going to do a base auto.
Whatever you want.
Oh, all right.
A base auto.
Man, I mean, I want some product. I want a case of 25
listen,
Bowman, man.
Let's come to the conclusion. We'll come to the conclusion off air. We need to wrap up, though.
All
We're on
right,
our
you got
time
O'Neal
frame.
Cruz, James Wood,
Yeah.
Junior Caminero, and
we'll
Matt
figure it out.
Yeah,
We'll
Matt
come up with
Olson.
something good.
All right.
Mike Mahan, CEO of Fanatics Collectibles. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you guys so much for watching the Sports Card CEO. We appreciate Cards HQ for hosting us, Mike for being our guest.
Yeah, thanks
and,
for having me.
boys, this has been a lot of fun in person.
Sarah, thanks for
It's
coming.
awesome.